All right. Good afternoon, everybody, or good morning. It's still morning. Let's give this a few moments and let's make sure we're live in all the places we need to be live. I hope you're doing well. Given this a little bit, always takes a minute to come live on LinkedIn. Just waiting for the confirmation that it's live, and then we'll get started. But I hope you're doing well. I hope everybody is well. There we go. I see the signs. There we go. Now we're about to be live everywhere. Excellent. Excellent. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever time you're going to be watching this. I'm excited. I'm excited because it's the holiday season. I'll be talking about that today. I hope everybody's is doing well. I hope you're excited about the season. I hope you're experiencing the joy that comes to this season. And all of that. Maybe looking forward to some. I am hopeful that this season will bring me some downtime so I can just unplug a little bit and get some rest. Well, I hope you're doing well. Let me know how you're doing, how you're feeling, and all of that in the chat. But welcome to another episode of Thriving Beyond Borders. I'm your host, Nambi. I come live every week and I just talk about, provide resources, tips, tools to help us navigate our journey in our newfound home here in the United States for African immigrants. And that's what I'll be doing today. And today, I want to dive into just an important topic, right? That most of us have experienced, are experiencing, or are about to experience, right? I'm about to get into it. And it's, I can't afford Christmas and the village. I can't afford Christmas. So navigating financial stress, especially in this holiday season, it's important because I remember being a kid and seeing, just Christmas is coming. Well, we did, Thanksgiving celebration where I'm from wasn't a thing. I came to America and I found Thanksgiving. I was waiting for another holiday to celebrate. It was Christmas. Like around this time, we started looking forward to Christmas. And I remember just always looking forward to Christmas because uncles, cousins, senior cousins, coming back from the United States, expecting them to bring stuff, right? Gifts. We looked forward to uncles from Lagos coming back from Port Harcourt. And we had this thing we say, they want Christmas. This just means do Christmas for me, help me. Give me a gift for Christmas, right? That is what it was. And so I know I've been on the side of the one with the expectations of people abroad or people coming back, to bring gifts, to come bearing gifts, to come bearing all the things, right? And make holiday an exciting time for us. So I've been on that side, and now as an adult, now with my own family, now being abroad, um, and having, now I'm having to be the one recipient of this. So I definitely understand anybody who is feeling some kind of way or feel some kind of way about this season. For some, it's Christmas is not the same because maybe people that we're used to having they are not there anymore. I understand that piece as well. So the holidays come with a different, it's various sets of emotions for us. For different people, the holidays mean different things. So I know the joy that this season brings. I also know the pressure that it brings, especially for us in the diaspora. It's not just about gifts, it's also about expectations. Well, Christmas is coming. Even for some of us here, so we have to stay. Sure, if you have your parents here, the expectations are, especially I've traveled, so it's with you now, so you can't even avoid it. But it's expectations, it's obligations. It's about balancing your own financial realities with expectations of everybody, especially in this season. And especially when you now have to be the one to do it. When you are the one receiving, you weren't thinking about all of these things. So today I want to talk about how to navigate that, that tension between being generous and financial wellness, right? How do you give from a place of wisdom and not worry? And I think that's the message, right? Giving from a place of wisdom and not a place of worry. So yeah, but the pressure is real, right? It is real. You want to bless your family. A lot of us again grew up being recipients of Christmas, of the gifts of uncles, and aunties coming back and bringing stuff from abroad, from America, from UK, from Lagos, from Port Harcourt, from wherever they were, right? From South Africa. And so that's already the standard. And you don't want it to get to your turn and now it's not you. You're not living up to that expectation. And so you want to, because you've seen, you know what it meant to you as a kid, you also want to do the same for other kids. You want to do the same for your cousins. You want to do the same for your nephews and nieces. And so you have that desire to bless your family back home, and it is not an unjust, it is not a selfish desire, it is natural. There's those expectations of remittances, right? There's also if you're going to travel home, if you're traveling to Nigeria, for example, for 30 December, there's travel, a lot of people travel around this time, around Christmas, end of the year. It's traveling back is not just about you taking yourself. It's about the gifts you have to give or bring, things you have to bring, and all of that. And you don't want to disappoint. Again, it's not wrong for feeling this way, right? It's not wrong for feeling this way, But sometimes the heart is willing, but the pockets and the budget is like, my guy, relax, chill. And so it's normal. It's not only you. I promise you. I don't care what anybody who grew up in Africa, most African countries around this time, they know what it is, right? Even people back home, there's a little bit of pressure to do things. You're expecting people, you're expecting to host, you're hosting, you're doing different things. So this season always, that's what prices go up for everything. So this season it's normally a financially challenging season in some ways. So it's a call for stewardship, right? We have to be intentional, like with how we navigate this season and making sure we're generous, but also being faithful stewards of our resources. And I know I'm sounding preachy with that line, but that is really what this calls for, right? So this financial stress is real, right? It hits hard, especially for us in the diaspora. I think I've established that you have to worry about exchange rates. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. It works in our favor, sometimes it doesn't. You have families here that you have to cater to. Your kids, if you have kids like myself, I have three beautiful daughters who are of that age where they demand the things they demand. Like I have a 5, 7, and 9 year old kid. So they're expecting certain gifts. They know what they want. They are very particular. So they're used to having their Christmas gifts. They are used to things under the tree. There's my wife, there's my family here, my parents are here, extended family. You want to make sure you are doing your obligations for your family here, but there's also family back home that you also have obligations to, that you have to cater to, and they are looking forward to and expecting you to live up to those expectations. So there's that dual responsibility, and that's another reason why it's the stress of this season, and then there's social comparison, right? During the holidays, everybody is looking at, well, this person in America just did this, or this one just opened up their house. What is this one doing? So there's also that pressure of like all these guys who are, and nobody's measuring the journey, the expectations. Nobody knows. They're just seeing the outputs, and now they're measuring your success, whether you're really abroad or not, based on what somebody else is doing. Of course, there's the emotional guilt, right? You feel like you've made it, but so you just have to give more. I know the pressure of that one too well, because people go and judge my bank account based off of social media postings, and they look at social media, they look at like, man, this guy's made it, and then so now they begin to put pressure, through because it's interesting. The dynamics around my family is such that personally, I'm almost immune to everything, but then they work other angles close enough to me to get my attention. So there's that emotional guilt that you have to deal with, and so the season is fun, it's exciting, it's full of all of the blessings that comes with it, but also I'm not oblivious of the challenges and how challenging it can be. And so how do we navigate it? What are some practical ways? And that's what I really want to get to. What are some practical ways that we can navigate this season, and be financially responsible while still being generous? Number one, plan and prioritize, right? What is essential versus what is emotional? Okay, you have obligations, those are essential. And then some are just emotional, like, well, you haven't bought anything for me since, or the last time you sent me this, that. Make that separation, right? Versus, what's essential. I need to take care of these things. Okay, yes, we're expecting people back home. The house needs some work, right? Essential versus, oh, I need an iPhone 17 because that's what I need to have for Christmas. Emotional. I'm your favorite auntie, and therefore you need to buy me this, and I know you can afford it. So it's what's essential versus what's emotional. Make a list of those things. You have to itemize those things. Create a realistic holiday budget before commitments pile up. All right. No, this is the capacity I can spend. Okay, so you have to spend during the season, right? I'm not saying don't spend, don't buy gifts, except you're broke. If you lost your job recently and you need to kind of hold back on expenses or spending money until you're sure of everything, then yes, hold back this season. Let them know, like, hey, this year, not maybe not, because things are not the way they they normally are. So I would say if you're out of work, you're in that kind of dire situation, then don't put yourself under pressure to do anything, right? But outside of that, just have a budget, right? So definitely plan to give, but do it within the scope and framework of a budget. What am I planning to spend, right? Before the commitments start piling up, have a budget that you're working with. Look at your finances, look at your loose cash, and say, you know what, look at your savings. What can you afford to spend this holiday, and do it and then feel good that you've done. It's important because that's how you honor your yeses and protect your no's, right? That budget, that's what will guide you when it's done. You're like, hey, can do it. And then once you plan and prioritize, the next phase is communicate with grace, right? Have an honest conversation with your family, with friends about what's realistic. Like, listen, I have a family, I have a lot going on. This year, maybe not, or maybe next Christmas, let's plan towards that. But right now, I might not be able to do all of these things. Like, especially for people you have that obligation to, then have a conversation with them, right? Based on what you're able to do, let it be clear. This is what I can do, or this is what I will be doing. I know certain people will say we're not. We have to remember we're Africans. We are. These are people who are, family is huge and big for us. So I'm not of the school of thought that, hey, you don't owe anybody anything. You don't have to. Technically, you do if the community rallied behind you to push you to where you have gotten to, or ensure your success. These are small fringe benefits that come with it. These are some things they looked forward to when they supported you, right? These are the things they look forward to when they were helping you out. Yes, they did it from a place of love and all of that, but also deep down somewhere they knew, hey, when you make it, you'll remember us. Christmas is going to be different, and so if you're not there where you can, pay back or live up to those expectations, don't put yourself under that pressure. Don't put yourself under that obligation. Have a conversation with the right people. You don't owe everybody an explanation, but there are people who have been invested in you. Family, close enough family, and maybe some friends, but the right people. You know people you need to, like, hey, maybe not this year, especially if you're not in a position to honest conversations, communicate that with grace. Get creative with your giving, right? Maybe some shared gifts, group contributions, defer any major commitments to later, right? Defer any major commitments to later, but maybe collaborate with other people, like, hey, what, let's do something for our friends. Right. If you have another friend who's an African, who's close enough to you, and you have a similar circle of friends back home, or maybe cousins, and you can go and then tell, okay, let's host a party for a family, and that's our Christmas gift. Let's throw an annual party, and that's it. Like, find ways to be creative where you're still giving the experience, you're still giving the gifts, you're still represented without breaking the bank. So you can collaboratively express your generosity, and then you have to learn boundaries with love and teach it with love and not guilt, right? Don't do out of guilt, but out of love. Okay, so it's very important. Don't let anybody guilt trip you into doing anything. Um, there's that. It's a very important and a fine line to work, because I promise you're going to hear sub stories and you're going to hear terrible situations, some real, some not. But learn to operate from a place of love, not guilt, because guilt will make you do what you don't, or make you step into what you might not be able to do at this time, right? Versus when you're doing from a place of love, and it's because I genuinely care, not because I want to uphold a particular, expectation or image or any of that. So, be graceful in communicating, and then redefine what giving means. Right? Giving is not just financial. Right? Sometimes you might just be like, "I'm praying for you." Okay, maybe nobody even want to fulfill that one, right? So but sometimes it might not just be monetary gifts, right? Maybe you just spend the time. Maybe the gift might be, what, I'm going to show up. It might be gift of presents. It might be other things. It might be cousins who you haven't spoken to, and you decide, what, I'm going to spend more time with you. I'm going to show you the ropes. I'm going to walk you through the ropes of a new career. Whatever it is, there are maybe skills you can impact, opportunities you can present to people. There are other resources that are available to you that, maybe not monetary, but still have value, right? And so you might be able to leverage, that and use that in place of monetary gifts, especially again, if you're not in a place where you're financially able to do stuff, but you can volunteer your time. You can give resources, you can make introductions, you can make connections, life-changing connections. You can, there are certain things you might be able to do that might be within your sphere of influence and your capacity. Use those things in place of, especially if it's going to be life changing and life transforming and push people forward, maybe advancing in career and business, in opportunity, even a relationship. That can be your trade off, right? Instead of, financial. So it's giving it's not always just financial. That's what I'm trying to emphasize. It's very, it's important. Again, big picture here is, I want you to look at financial wellness as community empowerment, right? That's really what this is about. It's when we are financially healthy, we can build sustainable impact. Okay, so it's important, right? There are things, if we do well with our money and don't let the guilt and the emotions, because this season tends to do that to us. Again, because of who we are, and we're very family oriented. We are loving, we're giving people, and it's right. And then we've been recipients. For a lot of us, we've been recipients of this generosity. We've been the emotional blackmailers before it. Maybe not me, but I know you watching me. Right? And so, it's time to correct that, and realize it's important. We have to plan. There's something we do here. I'm learning from the nonprofit world, like plan giving. It needs to be a culture we adopt where I know I need to be generous, and I have a plan for my generosity based on my capacity. It's super important. And when you get to your max, you stop, right? When you get to your max, you say, you know what, I'll prioritize you next time, or next, you walk around, but that's how you stay sane. You do your best. You can sleep well. And, can you please everybody? Somebody's still going to be upset that they didn't get something from you, or that they didn't get what they were expecting from you. Yes. I assure you, but in the long term, just keep showing yourself as a good person, as a caring person, as a generous person. And you may one day win them over, you may never. It's okay. That's how it works. That's life. But if we're going to, in the long term, make sustainable impacts, then we need to be strong financially, right? For you, if you're going to build something sustainable, if you're going to live a life of impact, if you're going to support causes that are meaningful, if you're going to invest in your children, your next generation, you need to be financially responsible. And financial health is, very important. See, my mission with the African American Collective is empowerment, empowering the African immigrants here in the United States, right? So that, and this is one of the places where it's kind of like a tussle between ourselves, but it's about empowerment and not exhausting ourselves, right? Equipping ourselves with the resources, with the truths, with a program to help us go make the right decisions. And so that's what I want to suggest to us as we navigate this season. Village might not be villaging, might not be feeling it the way, it might not be in a position to do what you desire to do. That's okay. You might not have the capacity to do what you desire to do. That's okay. What I would say is, let's start learning to plan ahead. budget for these things, start saving towards it, and even investing in as investing as an act of legacy, right? Again, I talk about plan giving. There are people who have wealthy people here. I'm learning about like wealthy people who have, and we always hear about this with the super rich, and how they plan to distribute their wealth when they are no longer here. But it's not just the ones that are popular. Like it's almost a culture here, and I'm learning a lot about it. And there's people who actually have organizations that they have penned down in their will. They have organizations that their family supports. They have causes that they are passionate about, and they take portions of their revenue. And these people, I'm not talking about super rich. I'm not talking about millionaires now. I'm talking about regular, everyday people who have identified with causes, and they plan based on their income. Their generosity towards those things that they have. And I think we can treat all of this responsibility expenses and put them in that bucket. Have a plan. This is how much I spend on family. This is what I'm putting away for Christmas. I know Christmas is going to be intense. It's always a time where I want to be generous. I have projects, right? We have things that we always do. My mom has initiatives that she drives and she leads that she's passionate about. And when this time comes, she looks to us to move, right? To move and invest in those things or fund those things, because it's legacy for her. And we want to uphold that legacy. And so if I know that that's coming, then the right thing to do should be to start preparing ahead of time. To start planning ahead of time. I have an extensive amount of uncles and cousins, and again, around this time, I know there's expectations of what are you going to do. I should do better with planning for that, for this time. So that by the time this time comes, I'm not under pressure. I already planned for it. And then I know my capacity. And so I'll do what I'm able to do and be as generous as I can be. And then when I'm at my max, we'll do it again next year. Right. And that's one way to be. It helps you be consistent. It helps you be more generous, and it removes that burden, from you. And something that should be given should be fun. Giving should be exciting. Even the Bible says it's let him that is of a willing heart, let him give. Right? It should be done from a place of love. Giving should be done from a place of generosity, of joy, not with the burden. Whether you're giving to God, whether you're giving to the church, whether you're giving to family, giving is rewarding when it's done from a place of joy, because I know how to get your joy when you're giving is really a lot of it's by planning, and it's not catching you unaware, right? So, question for you listening to me. Let me know in the chat, what is one financial boundary or decision you're making differently this holiday? Right? What are you not going to do? What's one boundary you're setting this holiday? What's one of those? And then how do you balance generosity with responsibility? That's another question. Let me know in the chat. So 2 questions. What boundaries are you setting this holiday season? And then how do you balance generosity with responsibility? I want to hear in the chats, both on YouTube and on LinkedIn. I want to get your thoughts. But let me wrap it up here. The goal is not for you to do less. Again, you were a recipient of uncle coming back from America. I'm buying you cap, right? So I'm not saying do less. I'm saying be wise. I'm saying be wise, plan, build legacy, and don't lose your peace. Okay, so if you haven't been planning this, there's going to be an expectation of this. Start now to, start doing better. We're in November, December is coming. What can you afford to do in Christmas? Right? We're doing Thanksgiving here in the US. But December, some people you might be traveling, you might not be traveling. What can you realistically do this year? How much money can you afford to set apart to do what you need to do? But for next year, let's be better, right? Let's start planning for Christmas at the beginning of the year. So whether you want to travel, who are you giving gifts? Make a list of the people. What are you looking to get for them? What is it going to cost me to do this? And I start putting away little amounts of money, right? I know people who start putting money, they have accounts back, back from Nigeria, start putting their money back in Nigeria, so that by the time this period comes, they don't take cash with them to travel. They have funds. Everything they will do, every gift they will give, every money they will spend, they've already been putting it away all. And so you see them, they're very generous when they come back home. Not because they have more money than everybody else, even though people assume that. But no, that's because they plan for this. they've been putting away money consistently every month. Once they get paid, a portion of it goes back towards their Naira accounts, to their accounts back home. That's planning. And so now you can thoroughly enjoy yourself and the Christmas period, and be generous and do what you want to do without without having any feeling any guilt, without any pressure, all of that good stuff. So I'm not saying do less. I'm saying just be wise. And again, it's next year we're doing something. The first, in fact, one of our early programs next year is going to be a financial literacy workshop. We're partnering with a major corporation here in the United States, based in Atlanta. I'm not going to announce it yet. It's for AIM. It's for AIM family members. So AIMers get together and know about this first. But why are we putting this together? Why are we driving this? We want our people to be financially literate, to be more responsible with our funds, because we can make a difference truly, and that's one way we can do it. All right. So I want to, that's what we do, and I want everybody to again be generous, but be wise about it. Uh, um, you know, this season, let's give with intention. Give with intention, live without regrets, because traveling beyond borders also means traveling beyond pressure. All right. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you've gotten some nuggets out of this. I am excited about Christmas. I'm excited about Thanksgiving. If you're here, you've been grinding, please take some time for yourself. Unplug, relax, decompress, spend time with family, loved ones, make good memories, and let's keep traveling beyond borders. But thank you all so much. I'll come to you again. Next week is Thanksgiving, so maybe not next week. We'll see. Probably do something pre-recorded and share. But I probably won't be live next week because it's Thanksgiving week. So if I don't see you, happy Thanksgiving. And if I do, still happy Thanksgiving. And thank you for all you do. I'm grateful for the AIM family, for the AIM community, for African immigrants who are doing well, doing great, and representing us properly. God bless you. And I'm proud of us and the work we'll be doing. AIM is driving some initiatives. Please make sure you're connected and plugged in, and you see certain things going on. We have a campaign going on right now. We're trying to, do some fundraising as we build and plan for programming next year. And so I invite you to join us to come and be a part of that as well. Help us build the future, because together we rise. All right. Thank you so much for all you do. Thank you for being a part of this movement. God bless you. And one more time, happy Thanksgiving.